So yes, hi everyone. We're happy to welcome all of you who care about the future of creative technologies to our webinar. I'm Denis Belkovich, the general partner of Fuelarts, and my co-host today is Scott Spiegel, the co-founder of BitBasel. Hi, Scott. I know you are quite
Hi, Denis.
stuck in in Miami traffic, but thank you for finding the
Miami
technical
traffic.
opportunity.
It's quite a piece. Thanks for having us. We're excited for this session and talking to all of our amazing panelists.
Good. So today's webinar wasn't planned long in advance, so it's more like a response, a reaction to the recent developments in the digital asset space. And the most recent one, of course, was the release of the Art Market 2025 report by Art Basel and UBS. And the rather curious, I would say, way digital art is positioned in it, which raises a core question. So does the art world as seen by the market truly consider digital art and NFTs as part of it, a part of the world art at all? And several Scott.
I can just say, and NFTs, they're not just JPEGs. They're infrastructure for securing and managing unique assets online. A great quote from our friend Alexander Mitrovich, the CEO of Unique Network, which is a key player in the Polkadot ecosystem, an ecosystem that Fuelarts and BitBasel has been engaging with a lot. And that's what he rightly pointed out. So how are NFTs perceived today? There's plenty of speculation about the market readiness for the next wave of Web3. But the real question is, are we ready? Have we learned the hard lessons? Do we have a clear roadmap? To help answer these questions, we brought together some of the most important voices in the digital creative asset space, what we used to call NFTs.
Thank you, Scott. So let's give a warm welcome to our speakers. Elena Zavalov, head of partnerships at LiveArt and founder of CADAF, the first ever made digital art fair. We also have Jessica Marinaro, an art advisor and curator, formerly senior director at Maker's Place, a top curatorial-based NFT marketplace. We'll also have two more guests today, but they are based in LA and they are just cleaning their teeth and preparing to join our broadcast. But thank you for joining us. Before we begin with our questions, I'd like to quickly walk our audience through the 4 key milestones that the global art market has marked in relation to NFTs in recent 12 months, and also that would give our delayed guests to join the conversation. So the first one, like in May 2024, just nearly a year ago, the New York Times columnist Zachary Small released a book chronicling the rise and fall of NFTs, and many wondered, was this a late attempt to cash on a fading trend, or a recent narrative from within the NFT space, or just a 2-year publishing delay. But here is what only a few noticed, that just months before the book's release, the author, who had previously been a freelancer, was promoted to a full-time position at New York Times, and he became their dedicated editor for art and technology. So interesting, isn't it? In other words, the market may have crashed, yet one of the world's leading media institutions sees this space as promising enough to assign a full-time editor. Maybe there was some strategy hidden. Let's discover more. So stage number 2, in autumn last fall, Art Basel UBS released an out-of-cycle survey of global collecting, concluding that hopes placed in the younger generation of collectors in relation to NFTs had not materialized. So, according to the report, only 3% of these collectors still held their digital assets after the NFT market decline. In other words, Art Basel and UBS blamed the young collectors for being unreliable and inconsistent. Then in March 25, like a month ago, came the intelligence report by ArtNet, and its lead article was devoted to exploration of what young collectors are buying today. And surprisingly, or perhaps not, it made no mention of digital art or NFTs. Instead, like Gen Alpha, Gen Z, and crypto millennials were said to prefer young physical artists, as confirmed by their purchasing patterns in recent years, which is probably not that true because digital art was a big part of their purchases. And finally, a week ago, the Art Market 2025 report by Art Basel UBS was released, and for the first time, the NFT section was outsourced, written by the not by the main authors, but a third party think tank, NFT18.com. Interestingly, that they are successors to non-fungible, once the largest analyst provider in the NFT space. But even in their recently published report, the NFT 18.com made a shift, like a focus away from NFTs towards generative art, which is technically still NFT based, but now it's rebranded under a more sophisticated term. So now let's have a brief look at the key figures around NFTs in art and collectibles from the report, and you can see here that the difference between 2023 and 2024 might frighten almost everyone, because it's the biggest decline in all those 5 years. So we marked those the raise of different numbers in green and the decline in red color. So we can see that in most cases the numbers have been declining for the second, even third year in a row. So let's move to our questions, and first of all, let's see if we have other participants joined us. Not yet. Yeah, they say they need 2 more minutes to drink their morning coffee. Good. So let's start the first round. We'll have 3 rounds of questions. First and the last one will be general ones for all of you, and the middle one will be specific. We tailor the questions specifically to the sphere where you where you showed most of the results during the first NFT cycle. Scott, could you please start with the first question?
Yes, I got on my nifty headphones. I want to make sure that the audio is working on them.
Could you please talk a bit louder? We can't hear you that much.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, more or less.
Yes, more or less. I'm going to speak very loudly then. So Dennis, thank you for going over that. We've heard the figures from this Art Basel report, but of course, the group here, we've likely been aware of them already, being deeply embedded into this industry. But I want to hear from both you, Elena and Jessica. Do you agree with the report's conclusions, and how would you briefly describe or add to the current state of the digital art market?
Oh, hi everyone. Thank you for having me here. Really excited to see all of you. And thank you, Dennis, for the invitation. Yeah, I mean, the figures are frightening a little bit, to be honest. It's a little sad for me to look at these figures, but I think it reflects well what is going on in the market. So the NFT art market, as we know it, I think is definitely going through a certain decline. I wouldn't, I wouldn't discourage digital artists from completely continuing, from abandoning the market at all. I think that NFTs and digital art are two different things. So NFT is a tool, blockchain is a tool, digital art is art. So it's just an art form that is different from traditional art. So I think that being said, things continue evolving, and artists, of course, always use new technologies to create art. Today, AI is a big thing, and that's what most of the digital artists, I think, are using in their work, and that's very important and relevant. The word NFT by itself became a little bit of not a very good word at this point. And I think a lot of it is connected, with cryptocurrencies, with the volatility in the market, and with the people who purchase these NFTs or digital art in the form of NFTs with the hopes to make a quick, gain or something like that. But it doesn't always work like that, or it works for a very short period of time and then it stops. But I think it's just we are in the period where digital art is going through some transformation. So the market, is going through transformation. I think we're yet to see what will happen in the future. So, at Live Art, for example, we're now working a lot with RWA sales. So we tokenize physical prints or physical artworks by the world's most iconic artists like Warhol, Kusama, and then sell the fractions of this works as tokens. So that's something to think about. But I think in general, the market is in the transition. I still speak a lot with digital artists, and I think that it's just in this strange moment right now, as many other aspects of economy and market are. We'll just see what happens next. Have to see.
Yeah, thank you, Elena. Jessica, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Well, thank you. It's so nice to see everybody, Dennis and Scott and Elena. Very happy to be here. Really appreciate being invited to join the conversation. Not surprisingly, I totally agree with Ilana's assessment. I think the word transformation is excellent. I think the current state of this digital art market also reflects a natural and necessary maturation. So I think with the speculative frenzy cooling, we're seeing a healthy contraction. I actually see this as a good thing. And this is something that the art world, kind of the larger art ecosystem, has historically benefited from. If we look at, the post-90s and the post-2008 corrections, they ultimately led to more serious collecting, more institutional recognition of emerging movements. So I think that if the digital art market kind of follows suit, this could actually be a great thing for the medium. And I think in this climate, quality is rising to the top. I mean, while the overarching larger numbers are certainly worrisome, I think that we're seeing kind of a sifting out, and quality is really rising, and the kind of quantitative speculation that was a big driver of a lot of the revenue is waning. So the numbers are real, but I think that in general, for the genre, I think this is going to be a good thing. I think this also creates fertile ground for artists to really get into an experimental phase and push boundaries. Artists who are working cross disciplines and in multimedia ways, and really coming up with innovative projects, seems to be the ones that are gaining the most recognition, as they should. I think of artists like Operator with on-chain generative dance movement, or Solomon Lopez, or Sasha Stiles in the poetry space. And I think these are the types of artists who will ultimately define the long-term legacy of digital art. So I'm kind of excited about what's to come, but absolutely, we all had kind of a reality check here in the recent period.
Thank you, Jessica. Meanwhile, we have Asya joining us. I'm happy to invite another speaker, Asa Nikolaeva, the founder of CityX Foundation and co-founder of Accompart Digital Art Auction. We might have another representative on behalf of Accompart today. Thank you for finding your time. And we know it's 7 a.m.
Exactly, it's early morning in San
Francisco at the moment.
Yeah. Hello. Happy to see all of the participants. Thank you, Denise, for inviting.
Yeah. I'll ask you the question. I'll repeat the question asked by Scott, and after that you'll have 30 seconds to think about the reply. Meanwhile, I'll show some of the comments that we already have online. So the question, if I'm not mistaken, sounded like, how did it sound, Scott? How did it sound? So yeah, we showed the figures from the report, but we are pretty sure you also know them as well. So or do you agree with the Art Basel report conclusions that NFTs are leaving the market, and how would you briefly describe, maybe that's the better the best option for you, briefly describe or add to the current state of the digital art market, including NFTs or excluding that? You have 30 seconds to think about it. Meanwhile, yes, we have we have comments from Jorge, the co-founder of BitBasel. Thank you. We have comments from James. Hi, James, the senior ambassador of Polkadot in the US, also based in Miami. And this is, that's if I'm not mistaken, for the second time we're mentioning Polkadot today. As Scott earlier mentioned, the saying made by Alexander Mitrovich, the CEO of the Unique Network, like the key player in the Polkadot ecosystem, regarding creative tech startups. So I also watched that webinar a couple of days ago. So he said, yes, NFTs are neither JPEGs nor art. They are just the infrastructure for securing and managing unique assets online. So NFTs are not art unless they represent the artworks themselves. Thanks, James, for joining us, and thanks Polkadot for continuously developing the creative tech ecosystem and digital assets involvement. So Asya, over
30
to
seconds.
You.
Yes, sure. I want to believe that everything that is happening right now with NFT market, digital art market, is actually metaphors. Yeah, so it's something that is going to a new stage of development with some smart, as we know, 2.0 approach. Yes, of course, lots of people, lots of our community that we built during this last 3 years together with CityX Foundation, they pretty, let's say, frightened of NFT as a disaster sometimes, because lots of them had a harsh time with different projects, different investments, different beliefs that unfortunately came to exactly the situation that you described. Described in the theme that we're discussing today. But at the same time, we understand that we're talking, in our case, in CityX Foundation, about two very important things. So first of all, it's preserving cultural heritage, and we understand that blockchain is such a exactly transparent and such a simple way to capture something that could disappear in a moment, because we're talking about a collection of Ukrainian avant-garde artists, and we're still working on putting all our collection that my mom was gathering more than 30 years in Kharkiv, Ukraine, and in Kiev onto blockchain. The collection is still in the middle of Ukraine, in the heart of Ukraine. Anytime, like, all the physical art paintings can disappear. And we still see a huge potential as a tool to preserve, to tell, to highlight, and to make visible our artists. Of course, it's more charity, way of developing the story and continue to build in this Ukrainian art ecosystem with the help as a tool of NFT. That's why I'm a dreamer, I'm a believer. We are moving forward. For today, we're concentrated more on our physical collection and thinking about all the possible ways how we can give another life, let's say, another dimension for all our artists. And it's for our collection, it's more than 1,000 pieces of Ukrainian avant-garde. But at the same time, we were talking about another passion project together with Sergey, and I hope that he will come soon. We're building a new digital art auction, Acom Parts. And in this story, we want to concentrate only around digital art as a new era of art and a new way of collecting. Here is not about preserving cultural heritage. Here is only about how you can collect, how you can build your own digital art collection. And it's, again, with the help of NFT as a tool, not NFT as a, as a like token or something. It's a way how you can, for today, see your collection, I don't know, on your screen, on your wallet. Of course, I have lots of things that I want to mention here. I still believe that this is just one more dark moment in NFT situation, and that from this NFT perception of what we have for today, we have to kind of come to another level, another perception that it's all about building a new era of digital art, a new era of collecting, because previous one is dead, looks like.
And now we have your co-founder, yes, Sergey joining us. But sorry to say, yes, Sergey, you've missed the chance. You've missed the chance to reply to the first question. Also, thanks to your co-founder. That's what co-founding means. Asa generously took all the pressure, all the responsibility, and replied for both of you. So please wait for the second part. For the second question, as I promised, the second round, and I've already announced you, but let me do that again. So Sergey Shendrik, Web3 entrepreneur, serial founder and co-founder and the founder of Acom Part digital art auction. So we'll have a specific question to you in a couple of minutes. Let's start with the second round. I promised that the second round of the questions will be like individual questions. So first one to Yelena. Could you please describe in 2 minutes the following? In 2023, the newly launched marketplace Live Art, which you represent, became the only profitable platform of the year, generating revenue from its very first project despite the bear market. So was that success due to your engagement with the Chinese market through a Chinese artist, or the focus on tokenized traditional art, or the data analytics integrated into your platform? So I'm quitting advertising your platform, but please give us a direct response, and honest, of course, because in the Web3 it's all transparent.
Always honest. Yeah, so just a few words. Live Art is a platform actually founded by Boris Pavsner, who is also a serial entrepreneur, with one of his startups being sold to Christie's auction house a few years ago, many years ago. The startup was called Collectrium, which is a collection management platform. So in general, Live Art was founded by people who are very well versed in the art market and therefore have really great connections within the traditional art space. And that's really how we got access to this amazing artist called Yumin Jun that I think you want to speak about, Dennis. So that collection, it's a beautiful collection, was created in collaboration with the artist. It's an AI collection, so we did about 1,000 of interpretations of his most recognizable self-portrait variation, the portrait of the Laughing Man. And at that time, I think it was a combination of hugely recognizable artist that has millions of sales with his traditional works, with the very innovative tools, how the works were created. So with AI and with a great access to the audience. So indeed, LiveArt had a very extensive community in Asia, and that also helped. And I think combination of all of that and working very closely with the community and with the artists created this unique sale. And it wasn't just one sale, it was a series of sales. So we had one that was sold on Ethereum, then there was another one that also went live and was sold on ordinals, on Bitcoin. So combination of things, very dedicated team who worked day and night in order to make this sale a success. Extremely creative and dedicated artists working very closely with the platform, and unique vision into what can sell. I think all of that made it a successful sale at that time.
I counted five slices of your success. Good, thank you, Elena, and we wish the continuous development of your platform. Moving to you, Jessica, the Maker's Place was considered a leading curated NFT marketplace, setting itself apart from the flea market style platforms like OpenSea and others. Nevertheless, 2024 unfortunately saw the closure of 3 major curated platforms, and each with a distinct business model. Sadly, Maker's Place was one of them. So what prevented Maker's Place from staying afloat during turbulent times? And do you believe the situation could have been salvaged or changed? Maybe it's not closed, it's just put on pause.
Yes. Thank you for the questions. It was indeed, a sad development in the space, but Maker's Place, I think, like many other platforms in the digital art space, were impacted by broader shifts in both the crypto, and digital art ecosystems and markets. When I joined the company in 2021, the market was really buoyed by speculative hype. There was high liquidity in the crypto space, and this fueled both the rapid growth and high volume sales of artwork, but also of the company itself. And then as the crypto winter set in, the market began to cool, and collector spending patterns dramatically changed, favoring quality over quantity, and long-term value over more of the quick flipping. We had to adapt, and I think we did that very well. During that transition, the focus, and my particular focus as a director, was on curating projects for international art fairs, and working very closely with our head of concierge on private sales. And those two types of activations, were the major drivers for revenue, but they were much sort of more individualized, very concentrated. They were also more expensive. We would put on incredible presentations in Dubai and Hong Kong and at Basel, and these were really the projects that moved the needle. But they were much more expensive than what we had been doing previously, which was more online exhibitions in the metaverse that were, a bit easier to activate. So the fact that we were doing more bespoke and high touch experiences, this really resonated with collectors, but it couldn't offset, I think, candidly, the decline in the volume driven online sales. And so ultimately, I think that model wasn't scalable enough to support the larger team. And I think that's why the board decided, looking ahead, even though there was still plenty of cash in the bank from the raises, looking ahead, that exact existing model and company structure was not going to be sustainable. So I think, and could it have been salvaged? And, maybe it still could. I've actually had some interesting conversations with several investors. There is a lot of bullish interest in the market and in the value of the platform and what we accomplished, and, working with the incredible artists that we did. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion quite yet. Something that does emerge, I think, will look very different. Personally, I think that taking cues from the traditional art market, where you do have a little bit more of a structure. I think the decentralized components of this space are very intriguing. I think there's a lot of benefit to it. It's certainly part of the ethos of crypto in general. But I do think that as a marketplace, to really get buy-in from new collectors and to really get substantial investment from the institutions and just a wider reach of people being invested in this space, it's going to require taking cues from the traditional art market, showing more IRL shows, the gallery model, the art agency model. I think these are very valuable tools to help these digital creators get to the next level, and also to establish a level of confidence, I think, from collectors who really are driving the future of the market.
Thank you, Jessica. We all know, and I remember how we met. I mean, it was like 10 years ago, and I remember you as a Web2 curator and great physical art advisor. At that time, we didn't add neither physical to art nor Web2 to curator, but now we do, and we truly believe that your experience will be needed in the nearest time.
Thank you, Dennis.
Scott, how about your connection? Are you ready to ask
I'm doing a
other
test,
questions
a big test. If you guys can hear me, I'd love to follow on this one for Asya.
Yeah.
Asya, if you can hear me, your platform CityX carved out a specific niche by tokenizing traditional art and running parallel physical exhibition projects, a true phygital approach. Exactly a year ago at your exhibition opening in Soho, New York, you emphasized the key role of blockchain in preserving cultural heritage, framing tokenization as a way to pass art on to future generations. 1 year later, has your perspective evolved? Have you found supporters of this vision, not only among artists and museums, but also among collectors and investors? And I remember that was an amazing event, which I was able to speak on the second panel. That was a lot of fun. So
yeah, Scott was there as well as.
And it was your birthday, Scott. So it should be your birthday not long ago. Yeah, happy birthday,
exactly
April.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Scott. Event was amazing. I really proud of our team. I really proud that we brought CityX vision to New York. It was during NFT NYC 2024, as I remember, right? It was several days assembly at beautiful Loom Studios, and we made lots of experiments how else we can bring actually our, again, Ukrainian artists into the life of collectors, art lovers, investors, and so on and so forth. We played with mapping, we played with WoCube entertainment system, and it was a pretty interesting decision how else we can bring in life the digital vision of our physical and traditional collection. But of course, as a result, we understood that to mix up, at least 1 year ago, to mix up Web 2, Web 3, to try to fill this gap is a crazy, complicated story. Because of course, each of communities, each of like people who are from Web 2 and they're collectors, for example, of traditional art, and all NFT crowd that actually came to our event, because again, NFT NYC was in town, they're not connected at all. They have different values. They don't understand, for example, for NFT guys, it was too harsh to understand why we're trying to bring all this traditional avant-garde into blockchain and trying to make them interested in that, and vice versa. Yeah. So for us, it was an example of how we can play with that. Yes, of course, we can try, and we still continue to make it happen, to build the community, to entertain people, but it wasn't a strong movement. Again, the main question about living with us, new collectors and new investors. So yes, new viewers, people who are interested, who are like amazed by the visual side or amazed by our panel discussion, because we also brought lots of CryptoPunks, and I have this wild blonde from CryptoPunk, and of course it's a great moment how to be a part of our NFT community project here. But again, I understood that it was very separated minds who had beautiful thoughts and beautiful discussion, but they're not, let's say, collectors and buyers of each other. And I think that it's exactly why through this year, I came to idea that I actually already told here in the beginning of the webinar, that one focus with CTX Foundation is staying with our traditional collection that we're expanding, that we're pushing to the different art fairs. And now we're actually participating in Art Busan in Korea in May with Ukrainian artists. And this is a concentration around traditional art, not trying to bring it as hard as possible to the Web3. And another line of our development and my personal development with digital art is together with Sergey and with Acomparts, first digital art computer art auction, where we concentrated only on digital art and Web3, not trying to combine these two fields and these two communities together. So for today, I feel that it's a part of where I'm losing my energy. But if to divide these two directions and to see how it will happen, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10, long-term project, definitely. So I still believe that CTX Foundation, together with Acomparts, in some period of time can come to very strong collaboration between digital and physical. At the same time, I was producing the film about Simon Dupuy, one of the first auctioneers, I think, in the world. Yeah, the name of this film is Hammer, and it's actually made by his own book about auctions. And the film will be out, I hope so, during the Venice Film Festival in Venice in Italy in the beginning of September. And actually what is showing there that this huge industry, Web2, absolutely Web2 industry of traditional art is dying. So we're kind of capturing the last moments of how it's still breathing, but there is no future for them. So something should happen, this switch should happen. And I'm sure that Sergey can keep my idea about that, yeah, and keep on going, telling about what is for today the auction, how new generation, how my kids, for example, like 16 years old, what they see in collecting art. Like, so it should be much more easier, affordable and approachable than all this world of art that was built for many, many years, maybe even centuries. Yep. I don't know if I answered the question, but I can keep on going.
You definitely did, and it's very interesting. You know, I think a lot of people, you know, over the years, we've been trying to kind of put a square peg into a round hole, bridging traditional and Web3 art. You're taking an approach of hitting both markets and waiting for the evolution where we can actually fit it. That's very interesting. So excited to hear more about the Web3 art strategy from Sergey.
Yeah, sure.
Sergey,
sure,
I'll get a little question for you. You've launched a digital art auction, essentially challenging both NFT marketplaces and traditional auction houses. Let me remind the audience, a previous attempt to create a major online-only auction house, Paddle 8, ultimately failed after 8 years. So what advantages do you see in the auction format, fast-paced and dynamic, over marketplaces, where there's time to reflect and negotiate, especially in the context of digital art? Sergey?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm into the NFT world since 2021, and I was like a first digital art gallery who built the booths into the during the Art Basel in Scope, and since that time I'm connecting with the Web2 traditional art market and Web3 digital art market, and I realized that everything that was happened since 2021 in the NFT revolution as a technology and all these marketplaces that were built during that time, they were built for not to integration into the Web2. They just built a small world with the different rules, with the different value. But unfortunately, that value was focused on the sales. And this sales means that it is not possible to keep the right, for example, collection, because the goal of all marketplaces like OpenSea that were created at that time, and okay, Super Rare Foundation, they are thinking about how much they sell in a month. They need to sell a lot. And this was the problem, because the traditional art market has the different rules, and actually the collection strategy has a different rules. If you buy the artwork, it means that you have to keep it as minimum as 10 years to waiting for the value, because it is all about the strategy. It is all about not only collection strategy, how to collect it, or we have a lot of different strategy how to collect, but also artists. It is not possible to be successful like in 1 year. It's not possible. Even in 5 years, artists have to work to bring the value to his artwork. But unfortunately, all this during all this hype, I was like evident that everything was wrong. And for example, if you are a collector, it was not possible to find the right artwork in the marketplace, because marketplace has millions of artists, and it was like actually problem and noise for collector to find the right artist. And also it was a problem for artists to be very well presented, because in traditional art world, for example, if we see the gallery, they have like maximum 50 artists in their pocket, and they work with them very well connected. The problem of NFT marketplaces, they are focused on sales like e-commerce. That is why we see that and most of the marketplaces are slowly out of the market. And also the problem that since 2021, they were not having the strong connection between Web 2 and Web 3. And still, we have an amazing technology. We have a blockchain technology. We have AI technology that have to be implemented into the traditional art world, but we still don't have this connection. And the huge problem for the traditional art market is they don't have a digital provenance. It will be so easy to change the market, to see the to not trust of the third part about the provenance, just to open the blockchain and use the blockchain in traditional art market. But still, do you know a lot of galleries who use the blockchain for provenance? Nobody. And this is the main problem. And like 2 years ago, we decided to help artists to go further, because they are just focused on sale artworks on the marketplaces, but they have to grow. And at the same time, the auction houses like Christie's and Sotheby's, they have a high level of artwork, and for the digital artists, it is not possible to be on this top tier auction houses. And we just trying to solve the problem and create the next level of digital art entity. And we created the auction house for this tiny niche. And since that time, we help digital artists to work and to perform their art with the next level of this digital art structure. I don't know if I explained it if you understand this.
You did. I mean, it seems like you're trying to bring in this, this long-term mentality and business model into the digital art world. A lot of the marketplaces, attracted a lot of short-term collectors and short-term business models. So looking forward to watching that journey.
And also, Liz agrees with you that you have explained everything. Thank you, Sergey. Funny gamer, funny avatar. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Nice to see you as well. And Jorge also sends hi to all of us. So let's move to the final question, and I would kindly ask you to spend like not more than 2 minutes replying to it. So this is again a general question for everyone. Let's talk about the future of digital art, whether we still call it NFT 2.0 or generative art or dynamic art or something else, like Art Basel UBS report calls it just art. But what mistakes has the market made that led us to the current results? Minute number one. And what practical steps do you see as necessary to build the future? Minute number two. So who'll be the first one, the most brave one? I believe one of our charming females should take the lead. Elena or Jessica?
Yeah, sure. I can start.
Okay.
So I wouldn't necessarily call anything a mistake at this point. I think I believe in, natural development of the market. So it develops the way it develops, and there is certain demand, and then the demand stops, and then there is a demand for something else. So that's how I look at the market. So the importance of us, of people who work in the market, is just to monitor closely what people want and to deliver what people want. And I think going to your second question, I do think that some physicality is important in digital art. So right now, I think the main kind of focus should be on trying to connect this physical and digital worlds. And this can be done in very many ways, but I think having some sort of physical aspect is still important for us as humans. I don't think we're at the stage yet where we are ready to completely go into the metaverse and just enjoy digital images all around us. We're just not there yet. Maybe we'll be there in, I don't know, 30 years. Maybe that's optimistic, but not right now. So I think that keeping this attachment to something physical, whether physical art or physical places where we show this art, connecting people, making sure communities connected and talking to one another, and again, listening to this community, what they actually want, I would think that's the way to go.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. So, Jessica, your turn.
Yes. Yep, I very much agree with Elena as well. I think the bridging of the physical and digital is definitely important. It's all about sort of not only how we're producing work now, but also how we're consuming it. And we have to remember that there are many different levels of, kind of aptitude and just knowledge in terms of, from a collector's point of view. They may be intrigued by digital art and artificial intelligence and the collaborative, creation of these incredible things, but they still have to be able to wrap their head around it enough to want to purchase it, because the sales really are going to drive, these artists' careers and support the ecosystem, the marketplaces, the auction houses that are all built to ultimately support them and the genre. So I think, yeah, and as the display technologies become better, there are many excellent, screen and casting and sharing kind of companies. I think as that continues to become more sophisticated and seamless, we'll see more adoption. I'm focused right now on a few corporate art projects. There's still a lot of education and learning that needs to happen, but I think ultimately, once the adoption, becomes a bit more mainstream, we're going to see a reinvigoration of the movement. But I agree with Elena as well. The kind of relegating it specifically into the metaverse, I just think we're not. It's fascinating, but I don't think it's going to move the needle enough right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Asya, what could you add or?
Yes, of course, agree with ladies, with Elena and Jessica about all digital storytelling and combining it all together. And it's exactly what we were trying to do 1 year ago, that we were talking today with Scott and you, Denise, and we witnessed it all together. But it's still a long-term project and story. I'm ready to move on. It's already 3 years with that movement, so ready to move on for 10 years more. So I see a light at the end of this tunnel, let's say. But what I think also very important is educational system. So maybe the school, the college, the institution that will combine together under one roof, collectors and digital artists, and maybe just digital art lovers, with explanations of the values and how they can collaborate, how they can see each other. I don't know, making collapse exhibitions, digital again projects together. This is very important. This is a lack of education in digital art. So kind of we have all this strong field with much potential, with stars, with the very cool people inside this field, but there is still no education where people will understand like these bridges in between them and how they can play this game in absolutely different levels. So I believe that a good educational like digital art major with all these under majors will help a lot to build all this ecosystem and to bring it to a new level together with NFT, all the smart innovations, NFT 2.0. Yep. Denise, do you have something to tell about that maybe?
No, I mean, thank you. I mean, your position aligns much with the position of Fuelarts and BitBasel, because we're standing for education, for educational approach, because if we want to build a sustainable future, we have to not only to learn the mistakes of the past, but also to create, I mean, sustainability means real understanding of
Exactly.
the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding is based on knowledge. Knowledge is based on education. I mean, the process of implementing that knowledge. So probably we'll speak about it a bit later, but now we are preparing a program, Fuelarts and BitBasel together for the Web3 community, for the Polkadot ecosystem. But we'll tell everyone later about it. First, we'd like to hear from Sergey his point of view, because he started touching a very interesting topic of like contradiction between the physical and digital. And I'm very curious if you continue digging the gap between physical and traditional and digital markets, or it's time to start bridging that gap. Sergey?
Yes, I agree that this is the time when we have to merge the gap, but how we can merge it, I think, how to explain it. The first problem is the adoption, the technology adoption for the collectors. Not only for the collectors, just for people who live the daily life. They don't want to know how to use, for example, Discord. It was so funny that some of my collectors, they really spend a lot of time to jump into Discord, and they were mad and crazy. Why I have to do this? I just want to spend my money for collecting. I'm here for collecting, not for the technology. And this was the main problem. This was also the problem. The bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 means that we have to make the technology as super easy for collectors, for our clients. They don't have to think about what is the background. They just want to push the button and enjoy the collecting things. This is the main goal of the how to merge the Web 2 and Web 3. And also, I have a presentation about how to collect the digital art, and sometimes I perform the presentation during the just people who are not in the art, and I have interesting experience. They have a very positive feedback. After the presentation, they usually come to me and ask me, "Oh my God, this is the very interesting hobby for me. I have money, but I don't want to spend it into the nightclub. I don't want to spend it to buy stupid things. I want to be a collector." It is like a very interesting language, one of the difficult language in the world, because you have to understand who is the artist, you have to understand the stories, you have to understand what is the concept behind this artwork, etc., etc. This is like intellectual things, and they really want to jump into the collecting things, but someone has to build a school, someone have to focus on education, not just connect Web2 or Web3, just connect new people and new collectors into the digital world and explain them how to collect. How much, just one question for you. Do you know the books, like bestsellers, for example, for people with the main topic, how to collect?
That's a good question, because there are. I mean, I've discovered that topic being an art economist. There are I've encountered 9 books which speak about how to collect, starting from the disaster ones, like
Yes.
really disaster ones, like how to collect, sell everything you had previously purchased, and then take that money, bring to my gallery, and I'll show you the way. That's the direct speech from that book. I will not advertise it, but the guy has a gallery in Pennsylvania, and his book is published and still available online, not banned. To real masterpieces, by Adam Lindemann or Magnus Rasch or other like art related people. So you have but you're right that there is no like art collector's Bible. There is no art collector's Bible. Maybe we should create it ourselves, and I see 6 perfect co-authors for that at the moment. What I should say that yes, education is key, and I promise to, even in the minutes left, I promise to say a few words about our project with BitBasel, because now we are applying to Polkadot with the proposal to create a so-called Polkadot Artists and Collectors Hub, like a 7-month program, which brings accomplished fine artists and as well as collectors and Web2 brands into Polkadot Web3 ecosystem. So this program will better say should, because it's not agreed yet, but it should bring together and educate the both sides of the market, like supply and demand, for the first time in the art world history, because there had been attempts to educate either artists or collectors separately. So we're trying to do that at the same time, because the market and the art market relies on the rules of general economic markets. So the market is always a balance between supply and demand, and that's what we are aiming to do. And we have developed the program for both on-site and online education of digital artists and digital collectors, as well as investors and brands. If Scott wants to add something, but this program should be free of charge, and if it happens with Polkadot, we'll be happy to if you join it as both mentors or spectators or students. But but as far as I understand, your plans, I mean, Ecampart and CTX are ambitious, so we'll be happy to get back to your idea of creating your school and fit this program to your needs as well after we finish with Polkadot.
We are thinking.
You shouldn't reply right now. You shouldn't reply right now. I know the answer already.
Yeah.
Scott, what would you like to add?
No, just shortly. No, thank you. Yeah, the infrastructure is there, and I think what's really interesting about our program is we want to educate the demand side, right? The collectors, and really, get rid of this short-term trading mentality and really think about, what does art investment on blockchain look like, and why art on blockchain as a digital asset adds value to you as a collector, not just from new ways to view it or new ways to experience kind of benefits, right? These utility aspects, but also the emergence of blockchain assets and decentralized finance, new ways to get liquidity to your asset so that this is an asset that makes you money over time and appreciates over time. So there's a lot of new avenues to explore, especially here in the United States, kind of with the unraveling of regulations and kind of the go marker from the national government to say, innovate in the blockchain space. And I think art will be one of the first assets to see that innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Scott, and thanks everyone. If someone wants to make a closing remarks, it's the right time to do that. From our side, I should say, we've just shared the link. The link of the page with our article created by Fuelarts and BitBasel as a reaction to the Art Basel and UBS report. I nearly said Art Basel and Fuelarts report. Not yet. Art Basel and UBS report, but so here you could find our own vision and some key findings, and also the solutions like, okay, NFTs are down but collectibles are holding. Okay, it's time to pivot. It's time to add more gamification to NFT art. Like gaming remains stable. Yeah, let's gamify the rest. Or the report says we're back to 2019 levels, but in our opinion, it's a good thing, because without the noise of speculation, both creators and collectors can return to building value, building trust, not building hype. So in our vision, this is a chance to lay foundations for a long-term trust and utility, the things that are behind the concept of not only Web3 or Web2, but human relations and common sense. So thank you everyone for taking part. If everyone wants to have a closing remark, yeah, we still have one question. So Yuri from Kiev asks, are the NFT as a market assets died or still alive? We can't leave Yuri, especially from Kiev, without the reply. Yeah, brave Kiev. So
I think that we can invite Yuri to our auction that is opening actually, Sergey, in several hours, right?
Yes.
With the absolutely amazing selection of digital artists. So Yuri can come and see, and maybe to feel this difference in determination, what is like NFT asset and what is NFT as a digital art. Yeah, what is the topic of our auction today?
Yeah. Sorry?
The topic, what is the topic, the style in which the auction is happening? Because each time we're choosing different art styles and digital art.
Yes, the leading of this auction is amazing curator, Francois de Gama. She is a very known digital artist and a very perspective digital artist. She also hard work and very talented. And
she was a part of computer club, right?
Yeah.
In New York in 70s. Yeah, so it's like
Matsuo Tagama was the part of the computer club that were created in 18th in New York. And we also did the investigation about this computer club. For example, like Raphael Rosenthal, who is also in NFT, and he was in digital before the NFT revolution. And now he is in the main entrance of MoMA in New York. And a lot of collectors, I think the new collectors and also the museums have the Raphael Rosenthal. Also, Yelna Frederick, she is, I don't know, she is
so
like...
it shows that NFT is perfectly alive. Yeah.
The culture, the culture has a long story since the computer were invented. It's not about the NFT. If we speak about the digital art, this is a long story, has a long story culture.
Behind.
Yes, behind that. And the NFT is just a technology, and I'm not sure that the NFT will die. No, NFT should convert into the technology to help to make easier not only to digital art market, to help easy to work and check the provenance for the rest of the traditional art market. But this is a huge topic to speak, how we can merge it. And I think this is like a question for the next session, not next big session.
Yeah. We've already received several interesting requests to take part as speakers and attendees of the next session. So I believe this is this is just the beginning. I'm happy that this topic has raised considerable interest. That's how AI sees us. Another implementation of creative technologies. And yes, Marianne from Miami, from NEMS Foundation, thanks us all. And I believe, Scott, you should contact Marianne in terms of our future Miami-based educational platform. So thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for taking part, and we believe in the future of, first of all, of art. Secondly, in the future of digital part of art, and thirdly, I believe only then, in the technology which covers it, whether it's called NFT or the next layer. We still don't know. We still don't know. NFTs are like, in my perception, NFTs like CDs. So after that there were DVDs, and now then we had flash drives, and now we have streaming, and in 10 years the movies will be implemented into our brain. So this is just the stage, and we're looking for this stage to evolve. Let's keep an eye on that, but based on education, as we've learned. Thank you again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Enjoying the ride, anyways.
Thank you.
For sure.